I was on Reddit and there was this guy that left just a comment that I thought was very interesting. And a lot of people, especially women, were disagreeing with this guy in the comments. So here was his opinion. He said, strictly my opinion, I don't think men should go to therapy for dating issues, specifically if they're having issues getting dates at all. Now, as a person that is a dating coach, I've had men that I've had the pleasure of coaching. You know, I do one-on-one coaching calls. You guys can sign up for it at HarryWilmington.com/coaching. And I will literally sit there, listen to what your issue is, and I will guide you through what to do. I will tell you places where you have blind spots. I will give you advice on things to say or actions to do. And also, I understand that a lot of this stuff, you have to really practice a lot in order to get good at it. So a lot of dating confidence, we think it comes from like internal stuff, but a lot of dating confidence comes from knowing the right things to do and then repeating it until it becomes a natural part of you and seeing positive results, right? And so this guy said the whole thing about like guys shouldn't go to therapy. A lot of people in the comments were fighting him like, oh, that shouldn't be a thing. And, you know, how is a man supposed to get better with himself if he doesn't take therapy? And I've had men on my coaching calls literally say to me, I've been in therapy for years, and this 1 hour of conversation with you has done more for me than all the years of therapy that I've done. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, that makes sense. But why does that make sense? Why do I feel as though not coaching and not therapy, but rather coaching would be a better avenue for most men to take if they're trying to get better at dating and also feel good about themselves? Well, I've come up with 4 different reasons why therapy doesn't help single men get women and why coaching is a better option. So just real quickly. So the first reason that therapy typically fails single men is that therapy focuses on processing feelings and not building skills. It is a very feminine way to try to deal with a problem that can be fixed by just knowing the mechanics of something. So that's why I talk a lot on the show about the process of things, about this is the step-by-step way to do this. It's not that there's not an emotional component. It's just that I found, you know, in my single days when I was struggling with dating, I knew the problems I was having. I knew I was shy, I was anxious, I was nervous, but knowing that stuff doesn't actually help you figure out what processes do you need to do to get out of feeling that way, you know? And so most traditional therapy is centered around exploring emotions and childhood wounds and trauma and how your past experiences shape your current mindset. And so that can be helpful for some things, but dating itself is a behavioral skill set, meaning the process of dating, dating is a relatively new invention. Like people weren't dating up until the 1900s. So the mechanics of how dating work is very, very much things you have to learn behavior-wise and then do them over and over again until they feel like a natural part of yourself, right? And so you need actionable tools on how to walk up to women, how to approach them, how to hold a conversation, how to escalate attraction, how to move things to the bedroom, the mechanics of how a first date works, all of which, by the way, are programs that I teach and talk about in my Get Girls Academy, which you can preview. You can sign up for a 7-day preview right now for free at HarryWilmington.com. But suffice to say, so in therapy, for example, you talking about, if I'm a therapist, I'm like, so how does it feel when women don't like you? Let's process that. How is that helping you learn a skill set about how to talk to women? It doesn't. And unfortunately, in most therapy situations, you're going to learn more about processing emotions, but not actually getting to the tangible things you can do skill-wise to get better results. So that's one area that therapy really does fail single men that are trying to get better with women. The second reason why therapy often fails single men is that therapists often don't understand attraction dynamics. And especially in this world and age where it's like everything's geared towards the things that women do are the right way to do things. So what would a woman say? Oh, just tell her how you feel. Be more emotional. Let yourself be expressive. Therapists are going to give you the same advice. Like I've heard that men that go to marriage counseling typically fare a lot worse because therapists are saying that crap. Like basically be more feminine to your wife and she'll like you again. But she wants a masculine dude. That's why it fails. So most therapists are not dating experts. Many of them they have a very clinical or theoretical understanding of relationships, but it doesn't correlate with how real world attraction actually works. So in other words, they're going to say things that sound good in theory that should work, but don't actually work. This is why, guys come to me and say, for example, like, I harp so much about not texting a whole lot, waiting 4 days in between dates, but also when women come to you with emotional stuff that you can't be emotional, you got to be the rock, all this other stuff. And so therapists will hear that and be like, well, that's stupid. If a woman really likes you, she should be fine with you contacting her all the time and texting her and telling feelings. Yeah, that's how it theoretically should work. But as a man that has lived the life of somebody that did that stuff and got bad results, and then I've coached other guys who also did that stuff and got bad results, and then I taught them certain skill sets that resulted in them getting the right results, I've learned that it's what I call the shoulding of things, right? Like, just because things should work a certain way doesn't mean that they're going to. And so I can't teach guys, for example, as a coach, to rely on what should work. I can only teach them what I know to be true based on things that I did that got me the results that they're also looking for. So that's why a coach is better, because a coach who specializes in dating, they know what works in practice, not just in theory, whereas a lot of therapists, unfortunately, do not. And this is especially true for female therapists, of which there are a lot of female therapists who will give advice that sounds good in theory. So, for example, just communicate, be open, talk, communication. And yet, when men do that, women find them less attractive. So that's another area where therapists really do fail. The third reason why therapists oftentimes fail single men is because therapy is not outcome driven. In other words, it's very, very vague. It's open to interpretation. So, for example, a therapist might ask you, so, in comparison to last week, how do you feel this week? Well, that's great, but like, that doesn't help you gear towards any progress towards women. Like, how do you feel about your dating life this week? And how do you feel about that woman you talked to? Like, what? Like, talking about the feelings of that is not outcome driven. It's just you talking and expressing feelings of stuff without any kind of progress. Whereas with coaching, the coach that you get, if you get the right coach, each week they're going to ask you specific things that are supposed to be indicative of progression. So, for example, if you're a guy that's shy and I'm trying to coach you, I might give the instruction one week, hey, so next week, I want you to go to the mall and try to approach 5 women that work there just to get into the habit of talking to women. So then the next week that I saw you, I would say, so last week, you were supposed to go to the mall and talk to 5 women that work at a Macy's, right? So how did you do on that exercise? Were you able to talk to 1 woman, 2, 4? Like, were you able to go to the mall at all? Like, let's see where you're at with that. Oh, I talked to like 2 women. Okay, great. You talked to 2. So now we still want to get to that 5, but good job on the progress this week. Come to me next week. Hey, Harry, I got to like 4 women this time. Oh, that's amazing. So coaches are going to give you steps and goals to hit along the way of you getting towards the ultimate goal of being able to approach women, talk to women, get them on dates, etc. And therapists, their job is not that. Their job is to get you to understand your feelings more and talk about them and see how you relate to them. But that doesn't help you relate to other people. That just makes you more aware of you, but it still doesn't give you a skill set, and it doesn't give you a list of goals to hit that let you know that you're actually progressing towards the relationship and dating goals you have for yourself. And then the fourth reason that therapy oftentimes fails men, especially single men, is that it often reinforces a victim mindset. I've had guys come in here before and they'll say like, Harry, you're always blaming guys for what they did in the relationship and not talking about the woman. It's like, one, there's plenty of channels that do that, but also on this channel, I'm all about the things that you can take responsibility for to change your own dating life. And so what I don't like is when men get stuck in a victim mentality where it's always the woman's fault. It's my family's fault. It's my upbringing's fault. It's the world's fault that I'm single and it's because of how I look and whatever like that. Like, you can be a victim. You can be powerless. You can totally be hopeless. And therapy, they're going to talk about healing journeys and about, your feelings of inadequacy and all this other stuff. And all that does is basically the therapist is agreeing with you. Yeah, you're a victim. You need to look at yourself as a victim and see how you've been wronged and all sort of stuff. And none of that allows you to empower yourself. Women want to date guys that feel like they're taking a hold of their own journey in life, grabbing it by the balls and doing stuff with it. And that means taking responsibility for how you live, being aware of the things that you're doing and not doing that are hurting or hindering your dating life, and being able to turn those things around. As a coach, my job is to make it, if I'm a good coach, my job is to eventually make it to where you don't need me anymore. In therapy, they're going to constantly be there giving you these vague talking points because they want you to keep coming back to them because that's how they earn money. I get my money up front, but also I'm results driven, meaning that if you don't get results, you get your money back. But the ultimate goal for me is you don't need me anymore. Like if you decide to be a fan of mine and continue to buy my books because you like my stuff, fantastic. But the goal of the coach is supposed to be, I get you to where you can walk on your own 2 feet, to where I'm able to help you build your confidence and then also help you to figure out ways to keep that confidence long after I'm gone, long after you've not hired me anymore, long after I'm dead, all that other stuff, right? And so this is why, in my opinion, that not therapy, but coaching behooves any man, whether it's free coaching on the internet, whether it's paid coaching. You will never be for less by getting somebody to coach you. And before I did all this stuff, I had guys I was following on the internet. I had people I was reading. I had shows I would tune into of guys just like you're tuning into me now and getting my coaching. I had guys that I did that for. I had programs that I bought. I bought Doc Loves the System, and I got David D'Angelo's Double Your Dating and all those other things because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have nobody to guide me. I have no mentors. I need some coaching. And it's helped my relationship life, my dating life immensely because of it. So for you guys that are in therapy thinking your therapist is going to help you eventually, somewhere down the line, spoiler, it could happen like 10 years from now. But if you want real results in a quicker amount of time and finding out ways to be able to like actually develop skill sets that are going to benefit you long run, both in dating and relationships and long term, consider getting rid of your therapist and doing like 6 weeks. If you do 6 weeks of good, solid dating coaching, you will have more results than you will ever get from spending 10 years on a therapist's couch. I'm just saying. So hopefully somebody got a message from that. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Harry Dating Convos. Don't forget to visit HarryWilmington.com to download my free ebook, Texting Women Like a Boss. And while you're there, if you're ready to take things to the next level with your dating life, check out the Get Girls Academy membership program for exclusive strategies and live coaching. Go to HarryWilmington.com to learn more and join today. Lastly, if you've got a question you'd like answered on one of these shows, leave a comment below or write me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.